A dark street, rain tapping against the pavement, a distant siren echoes through the night. Then, a bark. Sharp. Urgent. Rex charges into the mist, his fur wet, his eyes locked on something in the distance. Detective Hudson follows, his flashlight cutting through the fog. Something terrible has happened, and it's about to pull them into one of the most unpredictable cases of their career. This is Hudson and Rex, Season 8, Episode 6. And what begins as a routine call soon turns into a race against time. A mystery that tests not just the team's instincts, but their loyalty to one another. The city sleeps under a heavy blanket of rain. Streetlights flicker. The roads glisten with reflections of police lights that seem to stretch endlessly across the wet asphalt. It's 2:14 a.m. when the call comes in. A disturbance at an old pier on the edge of St. John's. The dispatcher's voice is calm but uneasy, the kind of tone that tells Hudson this won't be a simple case. Hudson grabs his coat, gives Rex a quick nod, and they're out the door. The sound of Rex's claws against the car's metal floor echoes faintly as the vehicle speeds through the storm. Neither of them speaks, but the tension says everything. Rex stares out the window, alert, sensing what's ahead. When they arrive, the pier is empty, almost too empty. The kind of silence that feels wrong. Waves crash against the wooden beams below, and the only movement comes from a lone boat swaying gently at its dock. Hudson's flashlight cuts through the darkness, revealing footprints, half washed away by rain, but fresh enough to follow. Rex moves first. His nose to the ground, he follows the trail, leading Hudson past crates and tangled ropes. Then suddenly Rex stops, low growl, ears raised. Hudson steadies his flashlight, pointing ahead. There's something lying near the edge. A phone, cracked, screen still glowing faintly. A woman's name flashes across it. Rachel. The name triggers a spark of recognition. Rachel was mentioned in a missing person report just last week. Hudson radios the station, confirming the match. What began as a noise complaint is now a potential missing person case. Rex barks again, pulling toward the end of the pier. His instincts are sharp, urgent. Hudson follows closely, heart pounding. The beam of light hits something else. A piece of torn fabric caught on a nail. Red. Not blood, but cloth. From a jacket, maybe. The pieces are adding up, but the picture is still unclear. As the rain intensifies, the thunder rolls closer. Hudson kneels, studying the ground. There are signs of a struggle. Scuff marks, broken glass, and the faint outline of shoe prints leading away from the water. It's as if someone was dragged, but where to? Hudson glances at Rex, who stares back with a knowing look. That unspoken bond between them stronger than words. They've been through cases like this before, but something about this one feels different. There's a presence, an unease that lingers in the air like static. Hudson whispers under his breath. "Let's find her, boy." Rex barks softly. Ready. The camera pans out slowly. The image of the pier fading under the storm. The echo of Rex's bark trailing off into the night. The hunt has begun. The rain has stopped, but the world still feels soaked in tension. The sky hangs heavy with low clouds, and the wind whispers through the pier like a secret. Morning light creeps in slowly, pale, cold and colorless. Hudson and Rex stand by the water, their eyes locked on the dark surface below. Somewhere out there, a story is waiting to be uncovered. At the station, the team gathers around the evidence table. Rachel's phone sits in a plastic bag, cracked but still functional. Tech expert Jesse types rapidly, pulling up the last few messages. Hudson leans over his shoulder. The final text reads, "Meet me at the pier. Don't be late." But the sender's number isn't saved. Just a string of digits. A burner phone. Hudson frowns. Someone wanted her there. Someone who didn't want to be traced. Rex growls softly, as if he senses the danger hidden in that message. Sarah, the forensics lead, steps in with a report. "The cloth you found, synthetic fiber. From a jacket, maybe. I'll run a match through our missing persons list." Hudson nods, eyes thoughtful. Every clue matters, no matter how small. Cut 2. Rex pacing by the door, restless. He's not done with the pier. Not yet. Hudson notices, grabs the leash, and the two head back to the crime scene. Sometimes the best clues aren't found in data, but in the dirt. Back at the pier, the air smells of salt and iron. Rex moves quickly, nose low, tail stiff. His steps lead Hudson toward a cluster of shipping containers. One of them, slightly ajar. Inside, the light barely reaches, but something glints faintly under a tarp. Hudson pulls it back. A bracelet, silver, small. "Rachel's?" he mutters. The tag on the inside reads, "To R from D, a gift, personal, emotional." Whoever D is, he's suddenly very important. Hudson photographs the bracelet. careful not to disturb the scene. Rex barks twice, a signal he's picked up something else. Hudson follows his lead and spots faint mud prints. Not from boots, but sneakers. Recent. Fresh enough to still hold the pattern. Someone was here not long ago. Then a sudden noise, a door creaks. Hudson turns sharply. Flashlight cutting through shadows. Nothing. Just the wind. But Rex doesn't relax. His body stays tense, eyes focused on a corner behind the crates. The camera pans. A quick glimpse of movement, too fast to see clearly. Hudson raises his voice. "Police! Step out now!" Silence. Then, the sound of running footsteps fading into the distance. Hudson gives chase, Rex darting ahead like a bullet. The camera follows the chaos, splashing puddles, echoing barks, sharp breaths. But when they round the corner, the figure is gone, vanished into the maze of docks and fog. They stop, both panting. Hudson looks at Rex and says quietly, "They knew we'd come back." Rex tilts his head, ears twitching. Whoever this is, they're not just a witness. They're part of the story. The camera fades out on the bracelet lying in Hudson's gloved hand, the metal glimmering faintly in the gray morning light. The first clue has been found, but it's only the beginning of something much bigger. The city wakes slowly, unaware of the storm brewing beneath its calm surface. While the streets fill with morning traffic, Hudson's mind runs faster than any car on the road. The image of the bracelet keeps replaying in his head. The name engraved inside, the shadow that disappeared into the fog. Somewhere in that chaos lies the truth, and Rex can feel it too. Back at headquarters, the team spreads out across the evidence board. Every clue is pinned in place. Rachel's photo, the pier map, a phone number, and now, the silver bracelet. Lines connect them like veins, but one piece is still missing. The heartbeat of the mystery. "Run a background check on anyone with the initial D," Hudson orders, voice calm but sharp. Jesse taps away at the keyboard. Within minutes, a face appears on the screen. Dylan Cole, a dock worker who left his job 3 months ago. The camera zooms in slightly on his file. History of assault, short temper, and a record of unpaid debts. Hudson's jaw tightens. "Looks like we've found our lead." Cut 2. Rex waiting near the door, tail flicking impatiently. Hudson gives him a small nod. The next scene unfolds at the docks again. This time, under the weak sunlight cutting through gray clouds. The air hums with tension. Hudson and Rex move cautiously between containers, listening for the smallest sound. Then they hear it, metal scraping, a quiet grunt. Someone's inside. Hudson signals Rex to stay low. The door bursts open and a man bolts out, sprinting across the wet pavement. Hudson shouts, "Police, stop!" But the man doesn't. Rex takes off instantly, muscles tensed, his bark echoing like a gunshot. The chase is on. The camera follows from ground level, Rex weaving between crates, splashing through puddles, Hudson right behind. The man stumbles, glances back, terrified. He throws something behind him, a metal rod that clatters against the floor. Rex dodges it effortlessly, focused, unstoppable. Finally, the man slips, crashing against a fence. Before he can get up, Rex lunges, not to harm but to hold. His jaws close just short of the man's arm, a warning growl rumbling deep. Hudson arrives seconds later, cuffs ready. The suspect breathes heavily, soaked in sweat. Hudson crouches beside him. "Where's Rachel?" The man hesitates, eyes darting. "I don't know what you're talking about." But his voice shakes, and Hudson knows a lie when he hears one. He pulls the bracelet from his pocket, holding it up. "You gave this to her, didn't you?" The man freezes. No words, just guilt written across his face. Rex growls softly, a sound that cuts through silence more than any words could. The man finally mutters, She found out something she shouldn't have. I was told to keep her quiet." Hudson's eyes narrow. "By who?" But before he can answer, a car engine roars in the distance, someone speeding away. Hudson turns, sees a black SUV disappearing down the road. The real threat is still out there. Hudson looks at Rex, determination hardening his face. "This isn't just about Rachel anymore," he says. "It's bigger than we thought." The scene ends with Rex standing alert beside Hudson, their silhouettes framed against the gray sky. Man and dog, partners bound by trust, ready to face whatever comes next. The chase for the truth has only begun. The night falls again, quiet and heavy. Rainwater glides down the station windows like tears, reflecting the glow of computer screens and restless faces. The room hums with low tension, the kind that lingers before the truth finally shows itself. Hudson stands near the evidence board, staring at the photo of Rachel one more time. Every clue they've found, every lead they've chased, all point to one thing. Someone inside the system wanted her gone. Jesse calls out from his desk. I've got something. The number that texted Rachel. It's linked to a private security firm. One that's been under contract with the city. Hudson turns sharply. Which one? Raven Guard Security. The name drops like a weight. Hudson remembers the case file. Raven Guard was involved in a corruption probe years ago. A case that mysteriously disappeared from the records. The camera cuts to Rex, his ears twitching as if he senses the shift in the air. Hudson kneels beside him, voice low. You ready for one last run, partner? Rex barks once, firm and certain. The kind of bark that says always. Cut to the Raven Guard warehouse. Silent, except for the sound of rain against the metal roof. The lights inside flicker, revealing stacks of crates, old files, and a few guards trying to act casual. Hudson moves in quietly, his steps careful, his eyes sharp. Rex moves ahead, silent as shadow. Suddenly Rex stops. He's caught something. The camera follows his gaze to a closed office door. Hudson listens closely. Faint voices inside. He slowly pushes it open. Inside, the truth sits waiting. A man in a gray suit, the same one seen driving the black SUV earlier, stands near a desk stacked with files. He doesn't flinch when Hudson enters. Instead, he sighs. Detective Hudson, I was wondering how long it would take you. Hudson's voice is steady. You set Rachel up, why? The man smirks, cold and confident. She found proof. Documents linking our company to the missing funds from the city's construction budget. We couldn't let that get out. Before Hudson can respond, the man pulls a gun from his coat. But Rex is faster. With a sharp bark and a blur of motion, he leaps forward, knocking the weapon away. It skids across the floor. Hudson moves in, cuffs ready. Within seconds, it's over. The man is on the ground, caught. The truth is out. Later, back at the station, the tension finally breaks. The files recovered from the warehouse confirm everything. Corruption, cover-ups, and the people who tried to silence Rachel. Thanks to Hudson and Rex, justice has finally caught up. Hudson looks out the window, the first light of dawn breaking over St. John's. He turns to Rex, who lies quietly beside his desk, tail wagging lazily. You did good, buddy, he says softly. Rex lifts his head, eyes full of loyalty, the kind that words can't describe. The camera pans slowly. The city skyline painted with morning light, the rain finally gone. The case is closed, but for Hudson and Rex, it's never really over. There's always another mystery waiting in the shadows, and together they'll be ready to face it. Fade out with music rising, steady, hopeful, and strong. Text on screen, Hudson and Rex, Season 8, Episode 6. Trust, loyalty, justice. The city breathes again. The night that once held danger now carries peace, fragile, but real. A soft sunrise spills across the harbor, turning the water gold. For a moment, it feels like the world itself is exhaling after holding its breath for too long. Inside the station, everything is quieter than usual. The hum of computers, the rustle of paperwork. It's routine again, but for Hudson, the silence carries meaning. He sits at his desk, staring at the open case file one last time. The photo of Rachel lies on top, now marked closed. Justice has been served, but victory feels different this time. Quieter, heavier. Rex rests nearby, head on his paws, eyes half closed. He's tired but content, the kind of tired that comes from giving everything. Hudson watches him for a moment, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his lips. You never miss, he says softly. Rex's tail thumps once against the floor. The simple language of loyalty that needs no translation. Cut to Sarah entering the room with a fresh cup of coffee. She sets it on Hudson's desk. You two never slow down, do you? Hudson chuckles. We try not to. She glances at the file. Rachel's family will be grateful. You gave them closure. Hudson nods, quiet for a moment. She deserved to be heard. They all do. The camera drifts toward the window. Outside, the streets of St. John's glow with morning light. A world that keeps moving, case after case, truth after truth. Jesse walks by holding Rex's favorite toy, the old tennis ball, and tosses it lightly across the room. Rex's eyes light up, all weariness gone in an instant. He pounces after it, sliding on the tiles, tail wagging with joy. The team laughs softly. It's a rare moment of warmth in a world filled with shadows. Then, Hudson's phone buzzes. Another call. Another mystery. He looks at the screen, sighs, and then looks down at Rex. Guess we're not done yet, huh? Rex tilts his head, ears perked, ready. Always ready. Hudson stands, grabbing his coat. The rhythm starts again. A familiar pulse of duty and purpose. He turns off the desk lamp, the case file left behind like a closed chapter. The camera lingers on the folder, then slowly pans to the station door as it swings open. The light outside floods in, and for a moment, both man and dog are framed in gold. They walk out together. Partners, friends, guardians of truth. No words, just purpose. As the door shuts behind them, the voiceover fades in softly. In a world where truth hides in shadows, loyalty shines brightest. Hudson and Rex, partners in justice, bound by trust. The music swells, slow piano over strings, as the screen fades to black. Text on screen, Hudson and Rex, Season 8, Episode 6, Echoes of Loyalty. Every case ends, but their story never does. The night returns, quiet, but not empty. The city's lights shimmer across the harbor like a constellation reflected on water. Somewhere out there, beyond the peace of solved cases and signed reports, something new is waiting. Something unseen. Inside Hudson's apartment, the mood is calm. The warm glow of a single lamp fills the room. Rex lies on his rug, half asleep, his chest rising and falling in a steady rhythm. Hudson sits on the couch, coffee in hand, eyes drifting over the city skyline through the rain-streaked window. For a moment, everything feels right. The storm has passed. But then, a soft ding. Hudson's phone lights up. An unknown number. No message, just a photo. He opens it. The image is blurry but clear enough to send a chill down his spine. A symbol, painted in red on a wall. It looks like a paw print, but distorted, twisted. Beneath it, a single line of text. You stopped one secret. But can you stop what's coming? The camera closes in on Hudson's face. Calm, unreadable, but his eyes tell a different story. The tired detective is already awake again. The game isn't over. He looks down at Rex, who's now alert, ears perked. Their eyes meet, the silent language of trust and readiness. Hudson whispers, almost to himself. Looks like we've got company again. Partner. Rex stands, tail stiff, a low growl rumbling in his throat. Cut to black. Then, slowly, the faint sound of thunder builds in the distance. A montage flickers across the screen. Quick flashes of what's to come. A dark alley. A mysterious van, a figure watching through a camera lens. And a close-up of Rex's eyes reflecting blue light. The music swells, tense, cinematic, with heartbeats sinking to the rhythm. A voiceover begins, low and steady. In the quiet after justice, danger always waits. Every truth uncovered casts a new shadow, and sometimes the next case begins before the last one truly ends. The final shot reveals the show's logo, Hudson and Rex, Season 8, slowly fading in against the sound of rain and distant sirens. Then, a title appears beneath it, Episode 7, The Mark of Silence. The screen fades to black, silence. Then, one final bark from Rex, a promise that the story continues. Every city has its heroes. Some wear badges, some walk on four legs. As the night settles once more over St. John's, the streets hum with a fragile calm, the kind that only comes after chaos. The camera drifts through the quiet city, gliding past the flashing signs, the soft glow of coffee shops, and the faint echo of police radios fading into the distance. Somewhere, another story is waiting to begin. Inside the precinct, the lights dim one by one. The walls that witnessed tension, truth, and courage now rest in silence. But in the heart of that stillness, two figures remain, Hudson and Rex. Not detectives tonight. Just friends, partners, survivors of another long chapter. Hudson sits at his desk, flipping through a worn notebook. The pages are filled with case notes, clues, and sketches of memories from years on the job. He pauses at one, a drawing of Rex. It's rough, messy, probably something Jesse scribbled as a joke during a slow night, but it makes Hudson smile. Rex lifts his head, sensing that familiar warmth in Hudson's voice as he says softly, "You know, buddy, I couldn't do this without you." Rex pads closer, rests his head against Hudson's knee. No words, just presence. That's always been enough. The voiceover fades in, soft and reflective. They say justice is a lonely road, but for some, it's a shared path. One built on trust, instinct, and the kind of loyalty that doesn't need to be spoken. The screen fills with slow-motion moments. Rex chasing through the rain, Hudson's silhouette against flashing lights, their reflections side by side in the puddles of the pier. For Hudson and Rex, it's never just about solving the case. It's about standing for what's right, even when the night gets darker. The camera zooms out, Hudson and Rex leaving the station bathed in moonlight. Their footsteps echo across the wet pavement as the city stretches endlessly before them. The soundtrack shifts, a slow piano theme layered with distant barks and the soft rhythm of rain. Another case closed, another truth found. But in a world where secrets never sleep,